later when I got out there, I was like, oh, this was faith. It was tossed around, so So I believe that you got to be in the water in order for your faith to grow.
Something just jumped in my head, right? Because a lot of times I know I let pick on Kendall and saying I don't know what faith looks like. Back in the day, I don't know what faith looks like. I don't know how to exercise it. But I'm an excuse killer, right? Yeah. I'm an excuse killer. We exercise faith every day. It's just that we're reluctant and hesitant to demonstrate it to the things of God. Yeah. When you get a job, you do an interview, and you sit before this person and you say, I commit to doing X, Y, Z in good faith and truthfulness and honesty. You go work that job. Most jobs make you work a week to 2 weeks in the hole. So it's not like you go to the job and you get paid after your day. You get your day's wages at the end of the day. No, you come to work that day, the next day, the next day, the next day, trusting that your check will be ready for you 2 weeks from now. That's faith. That company could close down. That company could, whatever the case may be, but we're willing to exercise it for something monetary, but we do it because we trust that company. That company's been around. I know somebody's been working there, so on and so on. Why do we feel like God works any other way? So we ask him for blessings. Father, make me a leader. Establish me as a spokesperson in my bloodline to change things, or put me on a platform. Let my degrees help me climb this ladder to do X, Y, Z, so on and so forth. But without these tests, how can he trust us to say, okay, I'm willing to let you work spiritually 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years in the whole? Yeah. I said that the wrong way. Are we willing to work spiritually 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years in the whole, trusting that the Most High is going to have our blessing and our destiny check waiting on us? Yeah. So it's not that we don't know the means and the mechanics of faith. It's about how can we transfer the demonstrations that we show with no hesitation in the natural, and how can we demonstrate those to be able to better ourselves and advance and grow as a people in the spirit? Because that's what the Most High is asking. Because when that boss gives you that job, you're going to have to deal with Susie May. You're going to have to deal with the traffic. You're going to have to deal with different personalities, all these calls, learning all these new systems, all these different challenges with the hopes of having a reward on the back end. The Most High is just wanting us to be able to be just as willing to work a couple weeks, couple months, a year in the whole, trusting him with that same level of faith that he will have our check ready in due time. I don't know.
I just be like, Sunday, the big guy, that's what I call him now. We was watching him, TD Jakes. Oh, yeah, big guy. And when he was like, God spoke to me and told me to move from West Virginia to Dallas. Come on, Sean. Be honest. If you had a dream last night, God said, I want you to move to LA. And I'm going to give you 2 weeks time to do so. Would that not throw you off? Would you,
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you said, that's a faith move.
Really? That'd be my first word. Really? Like,
like, man, I ate something bad last night if I went to bed.
Because I believe we serve a big God who, you got a job every day. But you just being safe. You're standing in a safe place. God's been showing you dreams. You've been having this tug, this pull to start the boutique, to start the salon, the nail salon, whatever the case may be. And you like, I'm going to keep going working for them. And then you have a dream. It's like, all right, bet, move from, D.C., and I want you to go to L.A. That's a faith move, because it's like, okay, so I don't know nobody there. I don't have no clients there. You know what I mean? Jakes could have done all that, but he upped and moved. And then when he got there, he still talked about he was tested. So I just feel like faith is like it's a big thing. It's a movement.
But there's no way to walk in the things of God without it. No. That's the thing. We can't purchase our way in. We can't do it by works, and we can't ride the demonstration of the works of our grandmothers and our grandfathers. We have to enter into the kingdom through tribulation and by on our own. So faith is a prerequisite. There's no way around it. And we love the rewards, and you have I want to be sensitive, but you have a certain sector of religions that teach blessing on blessing and blessing. They don't really spend a lot of time talking about the test and the opposition and the fine print and the things that's going to come with it.
We were talking, I know we got to move on, but we were talking about this the other day when you were like, it reminds me of the time when the man of God had spoken to my life when I was in L.A., and he was a prophet, and everything that he said to me was scary. Nothing was like, God's going to give you this, God's going to give you that. He was just like, Fantasia, you are about to go through. I want to Google it again because I want to. Did he say 8 years? Yeah, because it was 8. Yeah. So, because it was like 8 years for me of just trauma. Can somebody, can you Google that for me? Just because I want to be sure. I think he said to me, 8 years you're going to go through. And I had already started going through. So I was like, wait, what? 8 years? Like, I'm already almost dead. I can't take no more. And everything that he said to me came to pass. But he said, if you can endure what you see now, the woman you see now, he was like, that God's going to bless you. So I was scared at that point. And it just goes to you when you were like, people always speak blessing, 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 blessing. I was like, nah, I didn't get none of that. He came to me with the real and the raw. And I seen him at a sister. What's the thing they used to have in Raleigh? Sister Soul, Sister. It was like Sister, okay, in Raleigh. And I seen him and I was like, oh my God. Everything you said, he just stopped me. He said, I know. But I just wanted to tell him, I just wanted to go down the list. But the woman that stood in front of him, I had lost my weight. I was strong. I had just dropped the album. And he just looked at me. He said, I know. Dude, you look good. I said, oh my God. I was like, oh, but it was hard. That was faith. I had to hold on. So let's keep moving, God. We can stay there.
It's bigger than the place that you're sitting in right now. It's about the things that are still to come.
Yeah, and we're still tested, but I'm smooth with it now.
That's kind of where I wanted to like that. That's the yin and the yang that I'm learning personally as a man, that God wants me to get into a space as to where I can increase in my faith. He can increase in what he challenges and allows me to be tested with, and therefore I can be increased to uphold and withstand and carry the weight of responsibility of what he's asked me to do. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, man, we ask for these big old heavy blessings, but we haven't built our knees and our ankles through the test to be able to carry and shoulder that. We have to be very careful the things we ask for. So I'm gonna see just which one you say. I'm gonna ask you though, but can I'm gonna do one positive, one negative.
Okay.
Can you describe a time, or think on a time, or describe a time when you were tested and holding on to your faith actually translated into a heavenly reward?
You want me to just pick one?
Just pick one.
There's a lot. I read a whole book of those. A time when I was tested and I had to hold on to my faith.
Maybe even when your faith was tested. I mean, whatever, however, whatever. I can't see your faith being tested. But when you were tested and your faith is the vehicle you use to get from point A to point B.
Let's use Keziah. All right? Because everybody in the room kept they was preparing me for labor. They put us in the labor room, put the little on the paper, they wrote how I was going to vaginally, everybody, I kept asking them, what are you thinking? They was like, well, we're thinking, they sent the man in, the little Indian man to talk to us. He was like, she probably, we'll have to keep her here with us. And I just kept telling him, that's not going to happen. I had to keep telling myself, that's not going to happen. God know my heart. My baby can't stay up here. She got to go home. And they told me I couldn't stay over there. Oh, no. So I had to keep telling myself, because I believe that that's how the mind works. That's another thing the big guy was talking about. Like, the mind is the only thing we have that nobody can get. If you start allowing that stuff to get in your mind and thinking that, then it probably would have happened. Yeah, I mean, I cried about a couple of times in silence. But when I sent you to the truck, do you know who I talked to? The other big guy. And I was like, hey, nah, not time. I need you to come up in here. I plead the blood. The blood still works.
And I didn't do that intentionally, but think about the opener when I said sometimes you go through tests and then you feel like the promise is right there in reach, and then out of nowhere you get another test again. So it's like we went through a test just trying to conceive off the rip, right? So once we conceived, right, just a note, because somebody's going through something, right, and you go through something, and that's already trial by combat on its own. Then you get qualified, approved, you get clearance, whatever. So you thinking like, whew, that was it. Then right before it's right within reach. This is right before our third trimester. Like we should be like just focusing on the 1 tube being closed, just focusing on fertility issues. That should be enough. You come and test one more time.
Yeah.
Right?
On Easter. Literally.
You know
on
what
Easter.
I mean?
Yeah.
So we also have to get rid of that misnomer that there's only one test per blesser. Sometimes the tests, however many, however long, however deep, or how they are directly related to the size of the blessing.
Yeah. That's why I love Job's story so much. Because, like, he was tested constantly. You know what I mean? And so we as believers, that song that I had, Sean played that night, will your heart and soul say yes? Remember in the beginning, she was like, yes can come with, like, are you sure? Because yes comes with some stuff that you probably not, you know. So we as God's kids, we're going to always be tested. But that's how your strong faith comes in. So me sitting up there in the hospital, you know, I would look at Ken sometimes too, and I'd be like, you scared? He'd be like, nope. I'm like, you not? They would come in there and try to find Kazai's heartbeat. Couldn't find it. I'm over there like, what is going on? He's like, she there. It's there. She good. And all of a sudden, they get down low, and they go boom, 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 boom. I was like, yo, you got to chill out. Like, you in here wilding out.
Baby girl right there.
But that was a test for us because we were just sitting there like, ain't no way we made it this far. And she been like, ain't no way. So.
And it may have not had anything to do with Kazaya or you.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to be real talk. I kept wondering, I was like, God, we've been in here for what, 3 days? 4 days? And I was like, okay, I'm ready to go home. Why are we still here? Why are we still sitting here? I done told the Indian man, Lord forgive me, I'm not trying to be funny, I can't remember his name.
He's real dope,
He's very smart and very patient. He wanted to know how Kendall got all his muscles and everything. He loves Kendall. But I kept telling him it ain't gonna happen. It ain't so. And I was like, the God that I serve already showed me, like, I'm straight, I'm good. What happened was, on the last night, I think, two nurses ended up in my room, probably like 1 o'clock in the morning. He was asleep. And we were Taylor talking. Straight up. They was like, can I ask you something? That's how it started. And she was married. And she started saying, you know, what do I need to do? And I said, you need to switch up your feet. She was like, how do you switch up your feet? So from there, we just started talking. And she shedded tears. And I was able to, with God, I kept saying, okay, God, like, I need you to speak through me to speak to her. Because in this moment, I don't want to lose anything. I want it to be all you. I want her to leave out of here. So the next morning, the other nurse came in. You know, they switched shifts. She pulled out a letter. She was like, I have something that I was told to read to you. She said, the young lady said she ordered such and such book. She listened to Jonathan McReynolds. I told her to listen to that song. And she's going to go on her fast. And her husband, like, she just started going down the list. And I just got welled up. And I was like, maybe that's why I ended up here. No.
There's no way to track God's intention. His ways are higher than our ways. His wisdom exceeds, you know. His foolishness is greater than our wisdom, and he has no foolishness. But I've been thinking, me and you know what we're about to walk into. We know the doors that we're about to step in, which is a complete faith walk all in itself. So sometimes it can be, you know, in the national, what we saw and what we experienced. Sometimes it's about making sure that two become one, can stand in agreement, no matter, because that's a sensitive thing for you and I. Is we've had so many challenges and overcome them and held on to our faith as related to finances, as it related to our personal health, business, family, society. We've done all those. You know, the enemy like, you know, I hit you with a brand new thing. This is a new thing. And I'm proud of us for standing firm, man, and not giving them an inch of room to, nah, we're not doing none of that. You know what I mean? I hear you hook up what you need to hook up and close the door gently behind you when you leave. You know what I mean? But I've been in mind thinking, number one, the blessing and anointing on her life, because Keziah is so loved that it's overwhelming at times. And also the mission that we have to do as far as our ministry with our gifts individually and collectively, what we're called to do, you know. So, but either way it go, you know, I feel like we passed it because we didn't waver. It's not being naive. It's not being naive and just saying, no, I'm not going to have this baby. No, it's just saying, like, God, that's not what you showed me. And it's the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. I see what I'm seeing in the natural. I'm looking at these charts. They're teaching me and my wife how to read these contraction charts. And we look.
Coming like mountains, too. I was over there. I was silent. I was like, I'm scared of needles. They kept coming in there. We're going to shoot you with this. I said, do whatever you got to do to stop this. I don't care. I do not care. I ain't mean to interrupt.
No, you fine. I'm just saying because that was a tough situation. You know what I mean? But it's like I see what you saying in the natural, okay, but I also know what God has shown me, even though I don't have the evidence of it. Now they got evidence. They got proof right now on this chart. They got something tangible that's manifested right in front of us. These charts, these readings, these graphs. Typically, this is what happens. I see what you're showing me, but the thing that I cannot see, the thing that God has shown me, that's what I'm going to hold on to.
Right.
So sometimes we have to look past what we see in the natural, the proof that somebody has, the evidence that they have, and the data that they have, and where I can prove you this person said this or said that, or you're not qualified for this, or you're not worthy of that. Okay, I see exactly what you're showing me right now in my natural eye. But my spiritual eye is holding on and staying focused on something else that God has seen me that trumps whatever you talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and patty cake with you right here because I'm in this situation, but I'm going to stay fixed on the evidence of things that I cannot see, but I do see. I'm not going to do that.
But if I did, I would give you some time.
But I wouldn't dance for it, though, so just know that.
I will pay you, baby.
I ain't a praise dancer.
You wouldn't praise dance for me?
No, ma'am. No. Even God going to get a two-step when I get up there. Straight up. He know me.
Show Sean how you worship. How you do your thing in church. I used to see men in church like that, too. They just couldn't break.
I got no problem letting go in prayer. I close my eyes, I'm straight, but I was an armor bearer for so long.
Yeah.
For a mega church, we had 10,000 members or something, so we was always taught to pray with our eyes open. We really had to watch. They was like, because things happen in church. You got church shootings.
Yeah.
And so we were trained to pray with our eyes open, and it always stayed with me. And so I'm just like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I worship for you, baby.
But
Baby, I worship.
Listen.
I worship for you. I understand.
Y'all see how I'm just letting that thing marinate. All right, man, let's slide. So check it. Basically like this. We live in a world where I'm not going to say it's hard to maintain your faith. I would just say that the temptations and distractions are on overdrive.
It's hard.
Okay.
It's hard, it is.
Okay, so then it's hard. It's hard to maintain your faith when things like COVID hit and you just got that job or you lost the job that you had planned on retiring at. It's hard to maintain your faith when a loved one is snatched away through disease or shootings or whatever in a violent, untimely way. It's hard to maintain faith when you're alone and you have nobody walking with you. You have nobody that's holding your hand and encouraging you and strengthening you and believing in you and accepting you unconditionally. It's hard when you're part of a church group, but the head is teaching and leading from a place of flesh and misguided intentions, because we are in a season of a lot of false prophets. There's some great men and great women of God out here who live and die for the faith, but there are also an abundance false prophets and false teachers who are hiding in the population, and those sheep are being led astray. It's hard, but it's not impossible. It's very hard, but it's not impossible. So I want to close out like this. Looking at the landscape that, like we were talking the other day, like when it comes to Cohen, Kyan, and Dallas, we had to ask them that one day, like, I'm going to speak my mind on this one, and I'm going to just say what I need to say. We saw that little Nas X video. We saw the little Nas X video, which was disturbing on infinite levels. So we immediately called Dallas in here. And without telling him what we didn't want him to watch, we started asking him, what are you watching? I say that to say this because he could be over there watching Ryan's World or Sonic or something, and then you get a flash in the right-hand screen. Hey, don't forget to check this out, because they more focused on views than they are virtue, and they're more focused on likes than they are, liberation and things of that nature. So sometimes it feels like you don't even have a fighting chance. But again, it's not impossible. So what I was saying is this, to close out. What are some things that you believe, looking out the landscape of the earth, and that it is what it is, and we're pointing in this direction, and it shall continue. It just is what it is. What are some things that you would suggest, that you have tried, that you are considering trying yourself, some things to protect your faith, strengthen your faith, build your faith, cultivate your faith in a world that looks the complete opposite of the kingdom? And that sometimes a believer can feel like we're a refugee. A believer can feel like you're a refugee out here in this land because you have a stamp of approval that stands in complete opposition to the mass population. So what words would you close out to send to somebody who really just, because we take it for granted, that may not know where to find a resource or some inspiration or some security, or, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a hard one. Especially asking me right now. Because you know how we've had a lot of conversations, and I was talking to one of the other mothers in my life, Tanya. She's in Raleigh. During that time when she was in the hospital, like, God was dealing with her on a whole different level. Like, Derica's, when I talked to her, I was on the phone like, yo, remember I came outside at the pool and was like, Ken. So that's hard, because a lot of people who are watching, maybe newcomers to Christ, or maybe went through church hurt and said they're never going to go back to church. When you grow up like me in church and you see so much, and I know the first thing people say is, are you judging? I know I'm not judging. What I'm doing is I'm sitting back and I'm watching the holiness fight with the Baptists, and the Baptists fight with the this and the da-da-da-da-da. And this person reads the Bible and they see it this way, and this person reads the Bible and they see it that way. You got a room full of believers who all see totally different things. We're at war with each other. It's kind of scary to me. And this is why I don't get into battles, because you got everybody who says they love Christ and they love God, but everybody's reading it to fit their lifestyles. And so you end up with a lot of judgmental, you end up with a lot of hypocritical, you end up with a lot of, and so the outside people who are just coming in, the newcomers who are just coming in, it looks messy. It looks chaotic. It looks like buffoonery. It looks like a joke. And we've made God so common. We've made him like, la, 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 la. Hey, God, thanks for forgiving me. Oh, he loves us. See? He's still that same God that used to do the things in the Old Testament. He just switched up a couple of things in the New, but it doesn't mean we can go out here and wild out. So I'm on a whole different level right now. So I'm going to suggest to the women, there's a lot of great teachers, Sarah Jakes, even T. Jakes, I always suggest him. You got your Ayanlas. You got people who wake up every day and who promote love, light, peace, joy, God. Certain books to read. Number one, the Bible, because that's another problem. Is we are going on service on Sundays on virtual or whatever. Some churches are open back up, and we're getting the message from the pastor, and we go home and we don't even try to connect with God ourselves. So I would say that personal relationship, building that personal relationship, because it's hard when you get with a group of people, because again, I say everybody sees it the way they want to see it. And that's just the truth. Everybody reads that scripture and everybody takes a different thing from the scripture. And then it's an argument. I don't think God said that. I don't think God, let's just be honest. We don't know what God is. We just will never know. But what I can say is building that personal relationship with him is the safest place. That's my advice. Because right now I'm just looking at a lot of stuff and I'm like, whoa, wow. And it can be scary. We are living in, like you said, we're living in times that we thought we would never see. And so, yeah.
Just so I can clarify that, I want to make sure I'm very clear. The world is pointing this way, but remember the kingdom is always an opposite.
Oh, yeah.
So the world is pointing this way, but he's asking us to continue to stay vertical and not get caught up in the whole joint. I just don't want to mislead anybody. For the men, I got 3 things, and they're not what you're thinking. Because it's not about going to get this resource, go watch this show, so on and so forth for men. Because I think it's going to be very challenging to find that type of leadership that's not polluted. Number one, make a decision. I believe when it comes to men, the first thing you got to do is make a decision. What type of man are you going to be? No more straddling the fence, trying to be lukewarm. We got a lot of men who have found a hiding place in a lukewarm demonstration. So make a decision if you're going to be truly a man of God. If you're not going to worry about what the cliques say, if you're not going to worry about what the girls say, if you're not going to worry about what family says, are you going to make up in your mind and your heart to be a man of God? For those who do make the decision to be men of God, unwavering, ask the Most High to open your eyes to show you things for what they truly are. To just give you a stronger sense of discernment so that something you used to laugh at, now you may have compassion towards it. Something that used to be funny or something that used to be insignificant to you, it may now become a burden on your heart to be able to look at that thing differently and pray accordingly to that thing and address it and maybe put your hands to it and create another mission out of it. And then, what was the third one? I lost track of mine. Make up in your mind what you're going to do as far as the man you're going to be. Ask God to make it clear for you. Oh, boom. And then ask him to unveil the mysteries of his word to you. It's not an easy thing to decipher the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Especially the older Bible you go back when you start to get away from translation to translation to translation, which they're cool. But I feel like if you in this Bible that's been completely watered down, start working your way back to the original text so you can clearly understand what God said and what he meant for yourself. But ask him to unveil his mysteries. And if you don't know, be okay asking somebody else. I get texts from brothers all the time. You know, what about this scripture? What about that scripture? Or, you know, how a young brother reached out the other day, was asking about the end times, and only based off scripture, not my opinion, I'm giving him what I believe to be true based on what my Father has given to us. I think that's the best thing you can do. And then when you look at YouTube, IG, CNN, you can start to look at it with a more pure perspective, being able to guard your heart and rocking with the wisdom of the Most High. I think that's the best thing in the times that we're in right now, because we're gonna see some things. We talk about it sometimes, how like our grandmothers never saw color TVs, or I'm sorry, they were around to see color TVs. They never could imagine a phone that had no buttons, TV screens that you could touch, cars that drove themselves, FaceTiming with people that you can actually see on the phone that doesn't have a cord running all the way to the kitchen on a rotary. Imagine what we're going to see, Lord willing, if we're given the time and the grace and the favor. What are we going to see? We're going to see some things. So let's be mindful of that and continue to prepare ourselves with faith to endure it so that no matter what we see, we can still see the things that are not evidently seen and the substance and continue to hope for the substance of those things. You know what I'm saying?
And continue to have a good time, live life. See, we make it so deep. People like, can I love God? Because I don't want to be so deep. We have fun. We have a ball. And we love God at the same time.
So that's, nothing exhaustive tonight to where we cover everything, but we just hope we've given enough of our own personal demonstrations, our life, to get you to just think a little differently as it relates to faith, as it relates to God, as it relates to the challenges that come with the blessings. You know what I mean? Have that expectation. So when you pray and you say, Father, please bless me with this, say, Father, also give me the capacity to endure what's going to come with it. You know what I'm saying?
And sometimes just pray like, Lord, let your will be done in my life.
That's easiest.
Because sometimes we ask God for stuff that he don't want us to have. You trying to touch me?
You here for it.
Oh, I was like, you trying to touch me?
I'm trying to bring that calf alive. Bring
that
that calf alive.
Look how
I don't know how you keep cutting yourself.
I keep cutting. Look at the other side.
That was That was glass hanging out the trash bag.
No, that was the plate.
Yeah, that's the plate.
I was eating macaroni and cheese and collard greens.
Cut that leg off one more time. You might well just donate it to somebody.
Honey, I can't even reach my legs. Y'all, I need you to oil me. Dorikas didn't even put no oil on me tonight.
I be sitting somewhere chilling, man, trying to get some work done. She be like, bye.
I need you to oil
Come
me.
oil me. I say, girl, I'm up here working. This ain't Jiffy Lube.
I can't get to it. Need you to do it.
What's up, brother? Did you see anything that like came across the screens, man, that we ain't catch or something that you like you don't want to let slip by?
Kendall. I wish we had a divider that I could just kind of just talk
Oh my God!
right
I see what I'm saying.
I really
he gave
wish
me
we had, because this is listen. Feliz Navidad. Espero año. Wish you a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Valentine's Day, couples, married people, single people, complicated, secret people. It's a complicated situation. It's complicated. We ain't together,
What are y'all? We complicated.
but we not broke up. It's just complicated. The saints, the ain'ts. Hello, everybody. Listen, you thought you looked like a sect tonight, but it's like she's cute, and I they don't take my word. But are you still pregnant? Because I say it every time, but they're not taking my word. So we need to hear from you.
They're asking, am I still pregnant?
Oh yes, they're asking.
I just think they're doing that to try to make me feel good.
No, they not. I was looking in the camera. I'm trying to wonder.
At me.
Are you pregnant? I'm asking
The
myself.
smallest thing on my body right now is my head.
But I'm looking in the camera. Can you answer the question, please, ma'am?
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay. Because when I look at you, I see you pregnant. When I look in the camera, I see you not. So I'm just trying to.
Really? Look at God.
No, she gonna want you to screenshot.
I knew that would make you feel good.
Only God can do.
I knew that would make you feel good.
Oh, so you lying or you telling the truth?
Oh, no.
You're like, he lying. Oh, you capping.
I'm not.
Oh,
But people are
shady
asking,
boots.
though. They are asking. They're saying you look cute.
Sean,
Yeah.
is he lying?
They are
Okay.
saying it. See?
It's hard for me to trust Dereese. He calls me and says that, and people who like have not been around Dereese believe him. I'll be like, he lying. Don't listen to him.
I am not a man that will lie.
Do you have anything that
Yes,
anybody say?
I do. Actually, I do. Okay, so y'all was talking about faith on tonight. And it's made my mind go back when I asked y'all a couple of weeks ago, and I asked y'all, do you feel like people tell enough of their testimonies? But tonight made me understand what I was really trying to ask. Because you stated that a lot of people do tell their testimonies, share their testimonies, which I do believe that. But I think the difference is people are not telling what it took to get their blessing. Meaning that I think people are losing faith because people post a car, they post a house, they post all this stuff, but nobody tell. Because you remember a long time ago when people told their testimonies, they actually told all they went through before they told the ending. The middle part now, and I feel like it's missing, and it's just seemed like this person just got a car, this person just got a salon, this person, and so people just are left feeling like I'm never going to get. I'm never. But the real story is that this person was walking. This person didn't know how they made. So I feel like the gray area is missing, meaning that the in between people are not telling what they went through no more. They're only telling.
Because that's not hot no more. That's not the hot thing. Like the it thing is to just I woke up like this. You understand what I'm saying? That's the it thing. Like I woke up like this. I got this amount of money, but I ain't gonna tell you how I got it. I got a new car. I ain't gonna tell you how I got it. And I think like when I used to do my interviews, especially when I was on Idol, I'll never forget they came to me and told me I might need to pipe it down, calm down, like not say certain things, like don't mention your child, don't mention certain things, and I was like, oh, but they asked, like that's just the realness in me. I'm like, well, they asked me. I thought we were supposed to. It's an interview, right? You answer the question, they ask the question, you answer the question, but I knew then, like, oh, it's Hollywood. Like, everything needs to look like glitz and glamour. And so because that's the Hollywood life, and now through social media, everything through social media and television, it needs to look like that. So now we have become that. Like, I can't let you see how I got it. Matter of fact, I can't even tell you where I got it from because I don't even want you to have one. You understand? So now I believe me and Kim, we were doing business earlier today, and because we're proud of you. We're working out some things, and I was telling them, I said, I believe that I'm just very transparent, and people need to hear transparency. They need to hear the real and the raw. Like I was here, but then look at I got here. And that makes other people say, if she can do it, I can do it. If he can do it, I can do it. If you can do it, I can do it, right? Because you're telling me, and it's starting to hit home, and things are starting to wake up in me like, oh, well, I went through that last week, or, oh my God, I went through that okay, now, but if you just tell me that you got the shop, and you remodeled the shop, I'm just thinking, dog, he got it like that.
So like testimonies have had the miracles subtracted. It's normally this plus this equals this. Now it's this equals this, right? So like Moses, he didn't get the crossover, which he was hot about that. I was reading that the other day. Like Moses was hot. He kept trying to throw shots. You know what I'm saying? He kept trying to throw shots on the low. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, he said, when you cross over, once you take these stones, and I want you to set these stones in place as a memorial and a reminder. He said so that when your kids and your children's children come and ask what mean these stones, you can school them on how I brought you through Egypt out of slavery, and I brought the locusts, and I brought the plague, and I brought the blood to the water, and I parted the sea, and I destroyed your enemies. These need to stand as a reminder. That's all a car, a business, a promotion. Our daughter, she's our stones. She's our stone, so that when we cross over the next Jordan of our life and our situation, and we see Keziah run through the front room, we can remember when we lost everything, when our marriage was in jeopardy, when our families were at war, when everything was separated and fragmented, and when we didn't know what was next, or how was next, or when was next, or where was next, or who was next. These are stones. But what happened is too many people get caught up sitting by the stones, but they don't want to tell you about the Red Sea. They don't want to tell you about the locusts. They don't want to tell you about the slavery. They don't want to talk to you about the clay with no hay. They don't want to tell you that part. They just focus on my stones. You know what I mean? Just look at my stones. Well, there's no power in those stones. There's no power in your title. There's no power in your car. There's no power in this house. The power of God in all those things is the miracle. So we've subtracted the miracle out of the equation of our testimonies, and so sometimes that leaves them with no effect, and worse than that, it's giving somebody the nuggets and principles that they need of how they're supposed to get to their stones. We just want them to stay focused on our stones, and if they only focus on our stones and we extract the miracle, we've given them nothing. Actually, we really showboating, Because we're really saying, we're not giving God the glory, so we're really not giving them what they need to be able to go set their own stones.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I don't want to mess this up, but I thought I think I can get y'all to understand. Jake said something that I thought was very good because it made me realize, like, you know what, my faith is bigger than I thought it was. And he said that faith is not the absence of shaking, being scared, fear. And I'll use this Fantasia. Like sometimes when I do interviews about you, people will be like, "Tell us something about her that we don't know." And I talk about like sometimes before you perform, like how you get, you get like away.
Yeah.
And Jakes was saying that, and even you can look like sometimes when you grade your speaking engagements and stuff. Like we always see the strong Kindle to move forward, but sometimes before you speak, it reminded me of what Jake said. Jakes was like, "I had faith, but I did it shaking. I did it scared, and I'm saying that because, for the benefit of the people, some people feel like because they're still scared, they don't have faith, and I think faith is an action. It doesn't mean that it's going to take away everything and it just make you so strong. And so
you got to walk through it. I always quote yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I don't feel no evil, for God is with me when I'm behind the stage. And I'm like, I got to go out here. The curtain finna come up, but I need you to go with me. Cause I'm scared. If you can't go with me, ain't gonna be no good show. You understand? So yeah, you're gonna have those feelings, but you have to keep going. I'm pretty sure David was scared, or I'm pretty sure he was like, this dude is big, and ain't none of them finna do nothing. I gotta go out here with my rock, and I've been throwing rocks, and I've been I gotta hit him. You understand? Like, I'm pretty sure it was going through his mind like, oh, shoot. But he did it, so.
Let's not get it twisted. Courage is not cockiness.
Yeah. That is when you start getting in trouble. Yeah. When courage becomes cocky. Yeah. Understand? Because now it's all about you. And you can do these many runs, and you can sing like this, and you can play ball like this, and you can you, and God is not in it anymore. But when you still can get that feeling, you're not into yourself, and it's not you that's doing it, that it's God that's doing it. So I like that. Courage is not cocky, and I've seen a lot of cocky ones.
Yeah, they say courage is not walking without fear; it's being able to stand in the midst of fear, even though you may be fearful. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about. That's how, Jake's hit it on the head. There's many times we do a lot of things in our marriage and our personal life that we're shaking. We're shaking, and we ain't going to show you we're shaking. After we get out that meeting or we get out that call, we get out that situation, I'm like, girl, she like, boy. But we know that he goes before us as a front and rear guard. And so therefore we put on our face of faith. But, we have to trust him to do things that are outside our capabilities, outside of our budget, outside of our experience and knowledge. That's what God gets all the glory. Well, he gets the glory regardless.
I'm shaking now, but I got the face on.
Why you shaking? Because you're hungry?
I got to use the bathroom.
Last question.
Hurry up.
Last question. And I chose these particular questions because, I was reading some of the comments and people struggle with faith. I can't help but quote some of the stuff that Jake said. But Jake's also said this. He said, be careful of who you talk to. He wasn't just talking about enemies, but he said you also have to be careful of the people who love you the most. They will talk you out of your faith because they don't want you to leap. They want to keep you safe. So they're going to tell you, don't do that. He said his mother was always like, they're going to hurt you. They're going to talk about you. He said his success was his mother's nightmare. Because his mother was so scared for him. And sometimes, and he also said, your enemies will make you so mad, they will actually push you into a faith. But I just was saying that sometimes we think that we always concentrate on our enemies, but sometimes the people who love you the most don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to see you fail. So sometimes they will talk you out of faith. I know with me, every time I was trying to leap doing successful things, sometimes people I love were saying, don't do it. Like, you're good where you are. You're good where you are.
Let me do you one better. Forgive me, like a better word. Let me do something to make you think. I went to go speak in New Orleans one time, and when I got done speaking, these two white ladies came up to me crying. So I'm thinking like, yo, what's wrong? What's the deal? That's when I went by myself, and they said we need to get salute first here. We need to get this here to our kids. They said we have jobs for high school kids coming out, paying $40,000 to $60,000 off the rip, and said all they have to do is travel, maybe 5-6 miles is best, and come over these railroad tracks, right? They say, but a lot of the mothers and the fathers are not letting these kids participate. Now this is coming out of high school, making $40,000, $60,000 a year off the rip. They said because they felt like if these children got that opportunity that they would turn their back on their families or no longer see them the same. See where I'm going with this? So if your dad makes $30,000 a year, your mom makes $25,000, $30,000 a year, you 17, 18 years old, you start making $50,000. They were scared when they should have been pushing him or pushing her across those railroad tracks, across that Jordan, to take this opportunity to change the rhythm of the bloodline. Instead, they were keeping them on this side of the tracks from fear that I'll lose my son. My son may not look at me as a father anymore. He may not look at me as my mother anymore. So sometimes, yeah, people will do things in a subtle way to either project their fear on you, but also sometimes people would do it as a secret anchor to keep you from leaving them, because they don't have the courage, they don't have the faith, they don't have the passion to go and reach their own. And if you reach yours, where does that leave us? Where does that leave me? So I may be like, girl, you don't need to get with him because I'm not in a relationship. And if you go get married, where does that leave us? Where does that leave me? Girl, I don't think you should go to college in another state. Why? Because where does that leave us? Where does that leave me?
That's crazy because most of the time from the families I know is you go and you send that money back.
He say, I'm comfy right here.
You go. How about when they get your first check? When you get your first check? Mama need this, mama need that. Like, so it's crazy even hearing that side of fear, because it's like, I don't want you to outshine me or leave me, and I need you to pay a couple of bills around here. Wow.
So all of these dynamics go in play, and that's why tonight couldn't be a one size fits all. But we never want to do anything other than to just provoke the spirit of thought.
Ooh.
Go ahead before you lose.
Silence. You have to silence. You have to silence the outside. So I was at Cajun Yard Dog the other day. Yeah, I was at Cajun Yard Dog, and I was eating. It was good.
When? When was this?
At Cajun Yard Dog?
Today?
No, not today.
I say, where was I at?
No, not today.
Yeah, we married like that.
And yeah, so I was sitting there eating, and so the lady came on and was like, "Can I ask you advice?" I'm telling you, everywhere we go, it's a Taylor Talk. And I was like, "Yeah, what's good, sis?" She was like, "Look, I want to be an event planner." But it seemed like when I said I want to be an event planner and I started posting all my stuff, all my family members would want to be event planners. She was like, so I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just let her go and go. And I said, sometimes you have to silence everything. You have to silence family members, silence TV, radio. You have to, if it's something you really want to do or you really want to hear from God, silence is key. You have to silence everything. It's hard to do. Mm-hmm. It really is. But if you don't, like you said, you'll be sidetracked and you won't open it. You won't start the event planning. You won't do it because everybody's in your ear and you don't want to hurt such and such and you don't want to hurt cousin such and such and you don't want. So you have to silence it all. Sometimes I just go and eat by myself. I don't do it on purpose. Oh, no, yeah, I don't. Because some of the restaurants, you don't really like Cajun Yard Dog like I like it. What?
Everything give me heartburn, bro.
I had the he tripping. What I had the other day, some fried oysters, and have you had their fried chicken? Nice. You gotta taste their fried chicken. The cabbage, you had their cabbage?
Now their cabbage is busting.
Nice. You don't eat cabbage?
Sorry, we're back.
Are you black? Look, are you black? You eat cabbage?
Y'all just tapped out.
I'm sorry. It was food for me.
Dealing with a pregnant woman, like, you know what I'm saying? We can stay here, you know what I mean?
My oldest son cooked out yesterday. I was so excited. I waited to eat.
Trey makes some mean steak. Hold on. Salute to the young gunner.
Yeah,
doing his boat business,
the
working his
hamburgers
business,
for
and
me.
took time out to cook for paps and moms, man.
It was the
salute,
hamburgers
son.
for me.
Yeah,
and
I ate that steak with my fingers, bro.
I still think
It
he
was
lying. He marinated it. I don't care.
No, you know,
Yeah, I
Kayla said I
Trey.
did the seasoning.
Yes, she kept saying I did the seasoning. No, but yeah, sometimes you have to really, not sometimes. I'm sorry. Anytime you're about to step out and do something great, you have to get silent. Like it's a must.
I'm in a place now where I know I have to do it now, and I know that's confirmation. I was sitting here today, and I don't sit in a lot of silence. Check it though. Even in silence, I'm reading. Like I'm doing something. And my wife will know it's time for us to lay down and go to bed. She'll try to put on something that's light or fun that we can go to sleep to. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to read a book. She's like, you got to turn that off. I'm in a place now like I really need to hear from God. So I also have to turn down the noise of authors. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm not watching TV. I'm not listening to music. But I'm reading. So it's still another voice. I have to get better. And I want to get better at being able to sit in silence with my father so I can get clarity.
I'm start singing you to sleep.
I ain't worried about that. You won't sing for me.
I told the Lord I was.
You stingy with your vocals.
I'm gonna start singing.
I should wake up the lullabies.
Baby, I'm taking it back tonight and I'm doing it for you. And I'm gonna start with.
You gonna sing to me now? And rub my head.
Yeah, you know what's gonna be?
Oh God.
Come here. I'm gonna give you just a teaser, like an appetizer. Hush, little baby. Don't.
Oh my God.
Man, I'm a full-grown husband. You're not great.
You my baby. You feel my baby. You feel my baby. Don't make me call you one. Don't make me call you one
Say no
tonight.
hush, little baby, man. I weigh
Don't make me
240
call you
pounds.
one.
Yeah.
Don't make me call you one.
Yeah, call me one.
Well, I want to remember this conversation because I've been trying to get quiet so I can hear, but this is the one be texting me. Hey Sag, you're being such a Sag. You're being such a Sag.
Order me some food. I'm like, she like, I got food coming. I was like, I ain't ordered. She said Dorica's ordered. I said, where's Dorica's?
Yeah, I'm on standby. I'm on standby. Then she loved to text me and say, you being a Sag. I'm being quiet. So listen, this time she said, you're being such a Sagittarius. You know what I'm going to say? I'm being quiet. I'm silent. I'm sitting. I'm waiting to hear.
But here's the problem. I'm so connected with you, honey. God tells me when he's talking to you, so I know when you being
God
talking.
is not messy.
God said he wasn't talking to you this week.
God is not messy.
He wasn't talking to you this week.
He wasn't talking
No,
to me.
he wasn't.
He couldn't talk to me because you keep calling me or get interrupted. He said, I'll wait.
No, you don't want me to call you no more? Because I'm not calling you
I'm
no
just
more.
saying, mind you,
calling you
Kendall.
no more.
Nice. This how I go every day.
I won't call you no more.
Kendall, you know what she called you being a Sagittarius? Like, she ain't heard from me in a few hours. Not weeks, not days, not
That ain't
months.
true.
It'd be like a couple hours.
That's
I'm like,
that's a
you're
lie.
being such a Sagittarius. I'm like, it's
About
just
right. Y'all
been a
like
few
true
hours.
besties. Like every morning I get up. When I get back from the gym, I walk in the house. They is on FaceTime. If they not, y'all on FaceTime by the time I get out the shower. Then later on throughout that day, you be on FaceTime.
He calls me singing and stuff.
Interrupting my
Y'all
He
prayer.
do. He calls me too. You do it. We don't have to. Let's fast. Let's fast from each other 2 weeks.
She's not listening.
You ain't gonna make
She,
it.
listen, Kendall, she's the one that I was talking about when I asked the question, like, you can't tell your loved ones, because I called her this morning. True story. I called her this morning. I said, hey, they reached out to me after midnight, asked me to perform Sunny Side of the Street. They didn't call it. Whatever. I don't want to hear this. If you come to play, I'm like, you're such a supportive friend.
You such a liar.
They
you
reached
ain't
out
nobody
to me,
called
asked
you to
me
do
to
no
do.
Broadway.
They called me, asked me to do Color Purple. I
No.
called her, told her, you know.
But who you playing, mister? Because I come to be silly just to beat you up.
She's never
I'll
supportive.
be silly again just
She's
to
never
beat you up.
supportive of my good news.
I would beat you up every night.
They asked me to do the Easter program. I turned it down. You know why?
You ain't
Because
even going.
I already knew it was going to be a problem.
It's gonna be a problem.
It's going to be a problem.
He say, "Oh, reached out to him
So
first."
tonight, I learned to stop sharing my good news.
Boy, bye. Come on, hurry up. Because Sean
Pray so
got to
she
play
can
me
pee.
something. What?
Pray so she can pee.
Stop putting my business in.
You said it. They the one up here saying, they saying y'all forgetting she had to pee. That's what made me remember.
Thank y'all. But you see what I have to go through.
We got you covered, though.
Okay,
You and
babe.
Cassie.
Make this prayer quick.
Father, just thank you for allowing us to come back as a Taylor Talk family and nation. And we just pray that somebody's life is being transformed as we speak, that they can walk in greater abundance of faith and trust as it relates to you. It's not about anything else other than you. We just ask that you touch them, that you minister to them, and that your grace and mercy clears a path for them to exercise and increase their ability to walk in faith and trueness and in spirit. And we just thank you for, the verdict today. Ask that you continue to cover the family as they continue to heal, as they continue to process and rebuild from the broken pieces. But we know in all that we go through Christ, all things are made possible. So again, thank you for another night. Thank you for letting it be done in righteousness and order and love and harmony. In Yeshua's name we pray, and we thank you, Father. Amen.
I just got to offer to do a jazz tour.
Hush, little baby, don't you cry.
Kendall, I got to offer to do a jazz tour.
'Cause mama's gonna rub your head all night.
And then, I'm doing a little solo with Andre Bocelli.
Get his
whatever,
name right.
Whatever it is,
Get his name right.
Either way, I got invited.
He's so jealous.
Are you
of
happy
me.
for me, friend?
He's so jealous.
Friend,
of me.
are you happy? See? Y'all saw it for yourself. Don't tell your friends your good news.
I know one thing. You get to that shop tomorrow and it's
I
smoking.
tell you one thing.
know
I'll be
who
in
did it.
silence in the morning, so I'm not
You
answering the
get
phone.
to that shop tomorrow and you see smoke.
Kendall, you be able to be on FaceTime and wonder with her because I will not be available.
I'm coming over there to
hearing
light
from
that.
God.
I'm coming to burn that shop down. Because see, that shop then got into your
I'm
head.
hearing from God in the morning.
Just to let everybody know who worked over there with him. I'm burning it down. You better not be nowhere near. Because if you're in there, I'm burning all. I'm just playing. Lord, forgive me. That's so bad.
My phone company do charge me extra for FaceTime, so please, please. And it's a pandemic, I can't.
Oh, Kendall, how
Yeah, I ain't
dare
getting no stimulus.
you? Now you know I done got stuck down in here.
I mean, you got on sneakers.
Mind your business.
You got on sneakers.
My back said they don't care nothing about these sneakers. My whole entire back. Oh, God. Play the music nice.
Everybody said they waiting to see this get up. And we keeping these cameras right here. Oh, yes. Yes, guys, the shower is May the 16th. You know it was in June, but she wanted to change it, so we changed it. It's May 16th. Oh, I'm putting you out there tonight.
Yo, he don't believe nothing he says.
Yeah, it's May 16th. Virtual barbershop. Everybody wait. Listen, everybody's waiting to see you get up, and we're not moving the cameras tonight. The cameras will not move. Come on, let's see this. Let's count. 1, 2, 3. Come on. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh!
Are you expecting to find the love? Love that's mine. Darling.